Hi, my name is Belinda Schmidt, and today we are going to talk about schizophrenia. One of the things that I would like to cover is that not only is schizophrenic a hard word to say and spell, but it is also a syndrome that is very difficult to diagnose and treat, and is misunderstood by many just due to pure ignorance. Now, ignorance is simply the lack of knowing or the lack of knowledge about a particular subject. It is important to be educated about schizophrenia because it helps to lay the foundation for the condition and the treatment of this particular struggle that people go through. One of the things that we typically hear are stereotypical statements, such as all schizophrenics wear tinfoil hats, they are delusional, they hear the radio through the fillings in their mouth, so they think, and they cannot function in the real world as normal people. These are statements given by individuals that are just straight up ignorant. When I hear people say things like this, I take it upon myself to educate them on what they are speaking of, so that way in the future they know and they understand what the condition is and what pertains to it. Education is of primary importance in understanding that there are treatments available for schizophrenic individuals. No two patients are the same. None of their symptoms are the same. Success is possible, and unfortunately, there are cases when suicide happens to these individuals and they end up taking their own lives. Schizophrenia means split mind. It presents a scattered way of thinking and is classified as a syndrome. These individuals present with many different symptoms. Their symptoms are categorized into three different categories: positive, negative, and cognitive. And we must remember that no two patients are the same, and neither are their symptoms. Positive symptoms, which are ones that are present that should be absent, are ones such as psychotic symptoms such as delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, disorganized behavior, or catatonic behavior. With these, two of them must be present in order to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. It has to be ongoing for 6 months and active for 1 month. Negative symptoms, which are symptoms that are absent that should be present, are things such as removal of normal processes, decrease in emotion, loss of interest in things that they would normally be interested in, and inappropriate response to things, poverty of speech, decreased motivation to complete certain goals. Cognitive symptoms are subtle and difficult to notice unless specific tests are performed. Now, cognitive symptoms consist of not being able to remember things, not being able to learn new things, and not being able to understand things easily. We had spoke about suicide being part of what could possibly happen with individuals who are schizophrenic. The sad thing is that 5 out of every 10 individuals with schizophrenia will attempt suicide at least once, and 1 out of those 5 end up being successful. Although it is important to be knowledgeable on many symptoms associated with the syndrome, there are many facts that are just as important. People are not born looking a specific way, referring to individuals with schizophrenia. Like if you see a baby with Down syndrome, you clearly know that baby has Downs. This is not the case with schizophrenia. People diagnosed with schizophrenia, they look normal. There's no features. It doesn't attack, a specific race or a specific gender. And there is not a single gene associated or conclusively linked to schizophrenia yet. There is not a specific race or ethnic group Although it does seem to appear more in women than in men, but it could possibly be due to estrogen regulations of dopamine symptoms in women. This disorder has an onset for the early 20s for men and late 20s for women. There are no physical differences like we had spoke about. The area of the brain that is affected is the hippocampus and the frontal lobes. So we're not going to get into that because that's a whole nother speech about what those control. Causes of schizophrenia is believed to be due to an increased amount of dopamine in the brain. So schizophrenic is difficult to diagnose. It is important to get help of several professional disciplines, such as those who specialize in therapy, counseling, medicine, and psychopharmaceutical. When diagnosed with schizophrenia, it is important for these individuals to have continuation of psychotherapy and a consistent monitoring of medication types, the dosages. They do need to have them recalibrated from time to time again, and they need to stay on top of their care. So I hope that this information was beneficial to you in understanding this particular syndrome and the symptoms associated with it. Now you can kind of see that it is a condition that has recovery. It is manageable with medication, and that no two individuals are the same. The symptoms are the same. And God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We need to think before we speak, and don't stereotype or judge when we are ignorant about a particular area. Thank you.